Cause, a principle, aim, or movement that because of a deep commitment, one is prepared to defend or advocate. Karibu. Karibu is a Kiswahili word that means welcome. Welcome, you found yourself in a peaceful place, a place where you can grow and develop, and we hope grow and develop to your fullest potential. This is a podcast that we hope will expand your mind and raise your consciousness. Welcome to The Cause, conversations on music, history, and democracy. Kwanzaa is a celebration of an ancient and current cultural tradition that reflects the best of African and African diasporian thought and practice in its reaffirmation of the dignity of the human person in community and culture and the well-being of family and community, the integrity of the environment and our kinship with it, and the rich resource and meaning of a people's history, culture, and struggle. Dr. Maulana Karinga. Heri za Kwanzaa. Heri za Kwanzaa is a Swahili phrase that means Happy Kwanzaa. Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of The Cause, conversations on music, history, and democracy. I'm your host, Reiland Rabaka, coming to you from the Center for African and African American Studies at the University of Colorado, Boulder. Our center is an institution rooted in the belief that Black history is world history, Black culture is world culture, and Black freedom dreams are, in their deepest essence, human freedom dreams. Today, I want to invite you into a meditation on a celebration born out of struggle, shaped by creativity and sustained by a steadfast belief in our collective possibility. We're talking about Kwanzaa, a holiday rooted in the crucible of the Black freedom movement, a celebration that calls us back to our origins while pushing us toward the horizon of what we might yet become. Kwanzaa is not merely a holiday. It is a philosophy, a pedagogy, a practice of cultural recovery and restoration. It is a week-long ritual of remembrance, reflection, and renewal that takes place each year from December 26th to January the 1st. But beyond the candles, the colors, the music, and the symbols, Kwanzaa is a living reminder that Black people, wherever we find ourselves scattered across the globe, we are a people of profound creativity, enduring dignity, and unshakable hope. In a world that too often tries to pull us apart politically, emotionally, and spiritually, Kwanzaa gently but firmly insists that we draw near to one another, that we sit at the same table, that we light the same candles, that we speak the same higher truths. Unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. The Nguzo Saba, the Seven Principles, the heart of the holiday, Kwanzaa. In today's episode, we're going to explore where Kwanzaa came from, what it means, why it matters, and how music and art have shaped its expression and how its principles continue to speak to our urgent contemporary struggles for fairness, justice, and democracy. This is not a commercialized celebration imported from somewhere else. Kwanzaa is homegrown Black brilliance. Homegrown Black brilliance. It is African American intellectual insurgency. It is diasporic imagination at work. So settle in. Today, we are reflecting on a ritual that reminds us who we are and who we might yet become. Heri za Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa and welcome to the cause. Before we can understand the power of Kwanzaa, we have to understand its birth. Kwanzaa emerged in 1966 at one of the most volatile and visionary moments in American history. The civil rights movement was evolving into the Black Power movement. The struggle for desegregation was expanding into a struggle for self-determination, cultural pride, and community control. Malcolm X's teachings continued to echo in the minds of young people across the country. The Watts Rebellion had just shaken Los Angeles, laying bare the vast chasm between legal rights and lived reality. Into this moment stepped Dr. Maulana Karenga, an activist scholar working at the intersection of Black nationalism, African cultural studies, and community organizing. Karenga looked out at the landscape of Black life in the mid-1960s, the racial terror, the political assassinations, the urban uprisings, the economic exploitation, and he saw a people fighting for their lives, but yearning also for something deeper, a cultural foundation. He asked, what would it mean for African Americans to reclaim African culture, not as nostalgia, but as nourishment? What practices could sustain our sense of dignity, belonging, and purpose amid ongoing struggle? Lastly, how might we build rituals that uplift our ancestors while equipping us to imagine freer futures? Kwanzaa was his answer. Drawing on traditional African harvest celebrations, particularly the Swahili Matunda ya Kwanzaa, or first fruits celebrations. Karenga developed Kwanzaa as a modern Pan-African holiday designed specifically for African Americans navigating the afterlives of enslavement, segregation, and ongoing systemic racism. From the very beginning, Kwanzaa was about cultural sovereignty, the right to name ourselves, define ourselves, and celebrate ourselves. The first Kwanzaa celebrations in Los Angeles were communal gatherings in living rooms, community centers, radical bookstores, churches, cultural nationalist organizations, and Pan-African spaces where people sought to reclaim a sense of unity and purpose. Over the following decades, Kwanzaa spread across the country, first through word of mouth, then through Black newspapers and magazines, and eventually through schools, churches, and families. By the 1980s, it had become a widely recognized symbol of African American cultural pride. By the 1990s, It was woven into the cultural fabric of Black life, commemorated in literature, visual art, television specials, choir concerts, and children's books. But Kwanzaa's power lies not in its popularity, its power lies in its purpose. At its core, Kwanzaa was created to counter the cultural violence inflicted by centuries of colonization and captivity. It is a holiday that insists on wholeness in the face of fragmentation, community in the face of alienation, heritage in the face of historical erasure. To understand Kwanzaa historically is to understand that it arose from the same spirit that produced the spirituals, the same spirit that fueled the sit-ins and freedom rides, the same spirit that created jazz, blues, soul, and rap music and hip-hop culture, a spirit of resilience, reinvention, and radical hope. Kwanzaa is a reminder that Black people have always taken what was given, transformed it into something new, and turned survival into art. Kwanzaa is a cultural celebration, yes, but it is also an artistic ecosystem. Music, poetry, visual art, and performance are woven into its very DNA. You cannot celebrate Kwanzaa without celebrating creativity, memory, and imagination. Let's begin with the Nguzo Saba, Kiswahili for the Seven Principles, which provide the philosophical foundation of the holiday. These principles have inspired countless artistic expressions across the African diaspora. First principle, umoja, unity. Next, kujichakulia, self-determination. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Ujama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Koumba, creativity. And lastly, imani, faith. These principles have appeared in jazz compositions, rap music lyrics, children's storytelling, and liberation art from the 1970s to the present. They offer artists, whether painters, dancers, or poets, a vocabulary of freedom, a lexicon for imagining liberated worlds. And so in this way, we can see how Kwanzaa's seven principles, the Nguzo Saba, are hardwired into what we are calling in the 21st century Afrofuturism. Take Kaumba, creativity. In many Kwanzaa gatherings, the day of Kaumba includes performances by African drum ensembles, spoken word artists, choirs, jazz quartets, and youth dance troupes. I've seen children recite powerful poems about identity and ancestry. I've seen elders perform songs that blend the blues with African chants. I've seen entire communities come alive through call and response, clapping hands, stomping feet, and raising their voices. Can y'all feel that? Kwanzaa is, in many ways, a stage for Black expressive culture, a space where we can celebrate without apology, a space where we can bring our full selves into the room, our rhythms, our histories, our heartbreak, and our hopes. Consider the musical lineages that flow into Kwanzaa. From West African polyrhythms, we inherit the drum circles that open many Kwanzaa celebrations. From the Black church, we inherit the spiritual uplift of choir songs, prayer, testimony, and liturgical movement. From jazz, we inherit the improvisational spirit that allows each community to tailor the holiday to its own traditions. From the Black arts movement, we inherit the poetry, visual iconography, and bold Africa focused aesthetics that carry the special message of Kwanzaa, its altars, its posters, its displays. And from rap music and hip hop culture, we inherit a commitment to telling the truth, to documenting Black life, to creating a culture that speaks directly about our loves, our lives, and our lived reality. Artists across generations have used Kwanzaa, particularly the Nguzo Saba, the Seven Principles, to explore African identity and African diasporic connections. Painters create vibrant images of the Kanara, the seven candles, the mat, the crops. Photographers capture intergenerational gatherings, grandparents teaching children the principles, communities lighting candles together, hands clasped in unity. Writers, such as myself, use Kwanzaa as a narrative frame to explore African American family life, migration stories, and ancestral memory. Musicians compose songs celebrating each principle. Educators choreograph plays and musical performances for school celebrations. Activists use Kwanzaa symbols in posters, murals, and public art installations. Kwanzaa, in short, is a living gallery of Black creativity. It gives us a space to honor our past, celebrate our present, and imagine our future. An Afro future. Now, let's talk about why Kwanzaa matters in the 21st century. We are living in a time of profound polarization, economic inequality, environmental crisis, cultural fragmentation, and political uncertainty. Democracy is in fragile condition, to put it politely. Racial justice is under sustained assault. Communities are struggling with disconnection, despair, and displacement. And yet, Kwanzaa offers a practice of recentering, a ritual of reconnection, a framework for rebuilding community, the beloved community, from the inside out. Let's look at a few core and key ways Kwanzaa speaks directly to our contemporary moment. Number one, unity, umoja, in a time of division. At a moment when political discourse is designed to divide us, Kwanzaa reminds us that our strength lies in solidarity, not just with Black folk, but with all progressive people. Anybody who is fighting for freedom, we are in solidarity with them and their just causes. The principle of umoja encourages us to repair relationships, to build bridges, to remember that our destinies are intertwined. Ashe. When we light the umoja candle, we are declaring we are stronger together than we are apart. I'm talking about the beloved community up in here today. I see my engineers losing their mind. Yeah. Okay. I see you pumping your fist. It's so beautiful. Oh, principle number 2, self-determination. Kujichakulia in a time of misrepresentation. In a media landscape saturated with misinformation and stereotypes, Kujichakulia, self-determination, invites Black people to reclaim our narrative. It asks us to define ourselves, name ourselves, and shape our own storylines rather than allowing the dominant culture to do it for us. At a time when Black voting rights, curricular inclusion, and cultural autonomy are contested, Kujichakulia calls us to intellectual independence and cultural sovereignty. Third principle, collective work. Ujima. Collective work during widespread hardship. The principle of Ujima asks us to take responsibility for one another, to see each other's struggles as our own. In an era of mass incarceration, housing insecurity, and widening wealth gaps, Ujima, the concept of collective work, becomes a blueprint for mutual aid, community defense, and neighborhood solidarity. Fourth principle, cooperative economics. Ujamaa. Cooperative economics in a predatory economy. Ujamaa remains one of the most radical principles of Kwanzaa. In a world obsessed with profit, with this tendency to place profit over people, Ujamaa asks us to create systems that prioritize people. I'm talking about creating a system that prioritizes human need over human greed. Buy Black movements, community credit unions, food cooperatives, and mutual aid networks are contemporary manifestations of Ujamaa, of cooperative economics in action. Fifth principle, Nia, purpose in a time of existential uncertainty. I feel like Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir right now. Purpose in a time of existential uncertainty. Nia, purpose, pushes us beyond mere survival. It asks us why we are here, what we owe to our ancestors, what we owe to future generations. At a moment when young people wrestle with despair, anxiety, and disillusionment, Nia, the concept of purpose, calls us toward meaning making. Meaning making. Nia. The sixth principle, the penultimate principle, Kaumba. Creativity as cultural resistance. Creativity is not an escape from reality. I want to start with that, and I want to make that perfectly clear. It is a way of remaking reality. Kaumba, which is to say creativity, encourages us to heal our communities through art, innovation, curriculum building, institution building, and collaborative design. It is a principle that says we can build the world we want. I want you to just think about that. And I want you to think about Harriet Tubman or Sojourner Truth or Frederick Douglass. They did not accept the world that they were born into. They transformed. They lived lives of transformation. They transformed the world. Now, here they are, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Frederick Douglass. They spent time in shackles and chains, and they had a profound sense of their own power to create, and that our creativity is a special form of cultural resistance. And that wouldn't be me if I didn't bring up the fact that one of the points of emphasis here I just underscored, I just accented, highlighted for you was this whole notion of institution building. The Center for African and African American Studies is part of that great promise, that push to build institutions that reflect our views, our values, right? And we can do that while having solidarity with other struggling people fighting for freedom. Oh, I don't know if y'all can hear me. Can they hear me? Is my mic on? Building institutions. And I'm saying that our enslaved ancestors, shackles and chains, beaten every day. They had a sense of their agency. I inherited that sense of power and purpose and creativity. Woo! We can build the world we want and deserve to live in. Lastly, the final principle of Kwanzaa, imani, which means faith. Faith when hope is hard to hold. Imani, faith, is not blind optimism. It is disciplined hope. It is the belief that our ancestors endured so that we could continue the work of liberation. I want you to think about that for a moment. Think about your life as part of your ancestors' unfinished legacy. I'm talking about ancestral wisdom, ancestral knowledge. I'm talking about inheritance. So even though I grew up in the public housing projects, I had a sense that I inherited something. From Harriet Tubman. I inherited something from Frederick Douglass. Oh boy. I inherited something. Oh boy. From Sojourner Truth, from David Walker, from Nat Turner. Inheritance isn't just money or what your grandparents leave to you in their bank accounts when they transition into ancestorhood. Oh no, for African Americans, inheritance is often spiritual, cultural, emotional. I could do this all day. Wow. Whew. In our present moment, marked by fatigue, fear, and fragmentation, Imani, the Kwanzaa principle of faith, asks us to trust the long arc of justice, to believe that our organizing, our teaching, our dreaming, our voting, our writing, our art making still matters. Yes. Oh, yes. Black art matters. Kwanzaa, in essence, is a technology of liberation. It gives us language, ritual, and rhythm to confront the crises of our time with clarity and courage. Ashe. Ashe. Oh.
Are you ready to dive deep into the rich histories, cultures, and arts of Africa and the African diaspora? At the Center for African and African American Studies, affectionately known as The Cause, we're leading the way in research, arts, and student engagement at the University of Colorado, Boulder. The Cause is more than just a research center. It's a space where students, faculty, artists, allies, and activists come together to explore African and African American experiences, from historical legacies to modern cultural expressions. And at the heart of it all, our students, playing a central role in everything we do. They're the future of this important cultural legacy, working side by side with faculty on groundbreaking projects and events that impact not just the campus, but the community and wider world. Research projects and events that impact not just our beloved CU campus, but the community and world at large.
Our mission? To foster academic excellence, social responsibility, and artistic expression, with programs that inspire leadership and advocacy for social justice. Whether you're interested in visual arts, music, or deepening your understanding of African American culture, The Cause is the place for you.
But we can't do it alone. The Cause relies on the generous support of our community to continue making a difference. By giving to the Center for African and African American Studies, you help us expand research, create opportunities for artists, support our students, and drive meaningful social change. And right now, your gift will go even further. All donations will be matched by CU Boulder Chancellor Justin Swartz for up to $1 million or until May 30th, 2026. To make your impact today, visit colorado.edu/center/cause and click on Support the Cause. Every contribution, large or small, brings us closer to a future of unity, knowledge, and transformation.
So, if you're looking for a community where history, culture, and creativity converge, visit the Center for African and African American Studies at CU Boulder. Come join The Cause and be a part of a movement for unity, knowledge, and social change.
Learn more and give today at colorado.edu/center/cause. We can't wait to welcome you to The Cause.
All right. We have reached the point in the podcast where we have a poetic reflection. I mentioned earlier that poetry and music and performance plays a very special part in Kwanzaa celebrations. And so in that spirit, I'd like to offer up this poem. It is called Shea Butter and Shekinah. Shea Butter and Shekinah. Kwanzaa poem, just for you. We gather in the afterlight of December, where the year is tired, but the people refuse to be. Somebody's grandmother clears a small square of table, lays down a mat woven from stories we were not supposed to remember. Somebody's uncle straightens the kanara, the way you straighten your back before speaking truth in a crooked country. Children lean in like brand new question marks, their eyes all open commas, waiting for the sentence of the night to begin. Umoja, a word like a drum beat, come closer. Closer than the wound, closer than the rumor, closer than the border between your hurt and mine. We are learning again how to say we without bleeding. We are learning again how to stand shoulder to shoulder and mean it. Kujichakulia. Say your own name with both hands. Say it like a petition and a prophecy. We have been mislabeled, discounted, mispronounced into shadows. Now, we pull our names back from the mouths of strangers, wash them in river water, oil them with shea butter and Shekinah, wear them like bright jackets in a cold republic. Ujima, the third candle flares up like a neighborhood waking. We pass the flame, the way block mamas passed sugar, when sugar was all they had to pass. Who swept your grief off the sidewalk last night? Who watched your children while you worked a double shift of survival? Who stood at the mic, whose voice cracking on the word justice and did not quit? Their names are not in the news, but they are carved into the spine of this celebration. Ujamaa. We are tired of buying our reflection from people who never see us. Tonight, we speak of corner stores that know our nicknames, farmers markets where the greens still smell like somebody's grandmama's hands. We speak of dollars making U-turns back into black pockets, of barbershops funding book drives, of beauty salons paying protest bail. We imagine a currency backed not by gold, but by community, where wealth is measured in how many people you refuse to leave behind. Nia, purpose. Purpose tastes like collared steam. And hard questions. Why were we spared when so many were not? What will we do with the breath they never got to finish? The elders say, child, you were not born for decoration. You were born to be a bridge, a boundary, a bell, born to be the small, persistent voice inside the empire's head, saying, this is not the only way to live. Remember, this is not the only way to live. Ooh, I can hear my grandmother saying to me, this is not the only way to live. Kaumba. Creativity is not a luxury here. It is how we keep the roof from collapsing. Look at this table. Paper stars cut from overdue bills. Handmade dolls stitched from old protests and newer hope. Paintings of faces so luminous they light the room twice. Listen, somebody's son is bending a trumpet around his loneliness. Them blue notes. Somebody's daughter is breaking open a poem like a window in a burning house. We decorate the world so our people can breathe in it. Breathe. Woo. Imani, faith is not naive in this room. It knows footprints in the snow at midnight, sirens, empty chairs at reunions. Still, we believe not in the kindness of our captors, not in the sudden conversion of crooked systems, but in the slow, stubborn work of human hands, stitching a future from the scraps of what was almost destroyed. We believe in a world where our children are not born with apology already on their tongues. We believe because not believing never stopped the bullets and the brutality. The candles burn down, but the questions flare up. What does unity mean when the rent is due and the job is gone? What does self-determination mean when the map of your city has been redlined into cages? What does collective responsibility mean when the headlines keep announcing our disposability? We do not answer with slogans. We answer with prayer and practice. Umoja. We show up at school board meetings, block parties, clinic waiting rooms, and remember each other's names. Kujichakulia. We rewrite syllabi, rewrite policies, rewrite lullabies until the word black tastes less like danger and more like dawn, like the beginning of a new day, like rebirth and renaissance. Ujima. We build bail funds and breakfast programs, tutoring circles and ride shares, patchwork quilts of mutual aid in a country that keeps trying to evict our humanity. Ujamaa. We decide that profit without people is just a longer word for theft. We plant gardens on asphalt, share childcare, buy books from the store that doubles as a sanctuary. Nia, we pick a cause and we let it pick us back. Let it rearrange our calendars, our careers, our comfort. Kaumba. We choreograph marches, paint murals on boarded windows, sample speeches into new anthems, turning hashtags into hymns. I said we turning hashtags into hymns. Imani, we keep faith, not in inevitability, but in possibility, and the fragile, beautiful truth that human beings can decide to be better than their history. Kwanzaa. Heriza Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is not a week on the calendar. Nah, not to us. It is the nerve center of a long, unfinished song. A celebration where each generation adds a verse, changes the key, keeps the rhythm. We stand tonight in the echo of the drums and whispers, in the afterglow of all those who refused to disappear. Invocation. So we raise this year's broken pieces to the candlelit Kanara, that gleaming candlelight. We hold this year's broken pieces to the candlelight. Hold them up like stained glass and see, even now, we are capable of color. Even now, we are capable of chorus. The youngest child leans forward, eyes full of unspent history, and asks, will we do this again next year? And the room, full of scar tissue and second chances, answers in one voice, yes. And not just here, not just now, but every day we wake up and choose each other over our fear. Now, we pull our names back from the mouths of strangers, wash them in river water, oil them in shea butter and Shekinah, wear them like bright jackets in a cold republic. Shea butter and Shekinah. Whew. As is traditional with Kwanzaa celebrations, we close out with a call to action as we move toward the close of today's episode. I want us to return to the image of the Kinara, the candles burning steadily, each one a small flame of possibility. Every principle of Kwanzaa is a lesson. But more than that, each principle is an invitation. Unity invites us to gather. Self-determination invites us to speak in our own voices. Collective work invites us to take responsibility for each other. Cooperative economics invites us to share the fruits of our labor. Purpose invites us to commit our lives to something larger than ourselves, the beloved community. Creativity invites us to remake our world. And finally, faith invites us to believe in ourselves, in our communities, in our future. Kwanzaa tells us we are the harvest our ancestors dreamed of. We are the seeds of new worlds not yet born. We are the builders of a more just, more beautiful, more democratic tomorrow. I'm talking about the beloved community. So here is our charge, our call to action. Let us practice umoja by building bridges in our families, communities, and institutions. Let us practice kujichakulia by defining our identities in liberatory ways. Let us practice ujima by organizing against injustice wherever it appears. Let us practice ujamaa by supporting Black businesses, Black artists, and Black institutions. Let us practice nia by dedicating ourselves to the long work of freedom. Let us practice kuumba by innovating, creating, imagining, and rebuilding. And let us practice imani, faith, by believing that together we can transform ourselves and transform the world. Kwanzaa is not a holiday we observe once a year. It is a way of being, a way of living, a way of moving through the world with intention, memory, and a lot of love. So, as you gather around the candles this season, whether with family, friends, students, colleagues, or community, remember that you are participating in a tradition rooted in resilience and radiant hope. Light the candles, speak the principles, sing the songs, tell the stories, honor the ancestors, invest in the youth, and commit yourself to the ongoing struggle to create a society worthy of the name democracy. Let's create a beloved community. This is our cause. This is our calling. This is our contribution to the long unfolding work of liberation. Just as a quick aside, I want to share with you that I have carefully curated a special Kwanzaa playlist just for you. So when you gather around the Kinara this Kwanzaa season, I've already developed a playlist. I'm going to be your DJ for your Kwanzaa celebration. So please check out the playlist, check out the playlist notes that I have written up. But I've got a carefully curated Kwanzaa playlist just for you. Thank you for joining me today on The Cause. Conversations on music, history, and democracy. I'm your host, Dr. Reiland Rabaka. May your Kwanzaa be filled with unity, purpose, creativity, and faith. And may we carry these principles with us long after the candles have burned low. Heri za Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa. Take care. Peace.
Thank you for joining us for the Cause Podcast with Dr. Reiland Rabaka. For your letters, questions, and suggestions regarding the podcast, email us, thecause@gmail.com. CAAAS. The Cause podcast with Dr. Reiland Rabaka is produced and edited by John Arnold and is a production of the Center for African and African American Studies, The Cause, at the University of Colorado Boulder. For more information, visit us online at colorado.edu/center/cause. CAAAS.
Class is in session, so come and get your lesson. Ooh, the Cause podcast. I love that. Do you love that?